Twitter locks President Trump's account after he shares New York Post columnist's email. His account isn't locked anymore, it was a delete it or remain locked situation. This happened yesterday. Trump has full tweet capabilities now. Nothing really happened to him but a slap on the wrist. Twitter said it locked President Trump's account on Monday after the commander-in-chief violated company policies by sharing the email address of a New York Post columnist in a chirp. Jesus Christ. Clearly the lock didn't last long since this happened yesterday. Is anyone else as tired as I am of having a perpetually 12-year-old president? The fact that Twitter is Trump's favorite platform is enough to make me never get an account. Really? This is what gets his Twitter locked? Not all the hate speech and disinformation? Fuck social media. Twitter needs to delete Trump's account. The drugs are kicking in. He's insane. He's always been insane. 3. He's a sociopath. 4. He's doing something horrible either way. 5. This is why Pence and those around him are cowards for not invoking the 25th Amendment. They know the drugs he is on are further impacting his brain. 6. This is on Dr. Conley for constantly lying as well. And now the stock market is tanking. Have fun, Trump voters. If you voted for Trump because he helped your 401k, you deserve everything bad happening right now. I'm sorry but you do. We passed the point of sanity with Trump long ago. If 45% of this country would not have insisted on supporting him for so long and the Republicans in the Senate would have just impeached when they should have, we wouldn't be here. Even r/conservative is taking this badly. He's using the same tactic he does negotiating in business, except an entire country's livelihood is at stake. This is what he's done his whole presidency, including with international negotiations. It just hasn't so obviously hit people's pocketbooks until now. $100 says he reverses course by the time markets open. Also, let's not forget he's on a ton of drugs to make him even more delusional than he already is. Going to be a rougher than normal few weeks following an unprecedentedly horrible few years. Removed. Given Trump's history, each major platform should and can afford to assign one person to follow Trump all day long to immediately spot and correct BS. There's no fucking reason misinformation about voting or a deadly disease should stay up for more than 5 minutes. I don't use Twitter and never had much of an opinion on them, but my opinion now is that they are trash pandas. FFS, are we not going to hold Twitter complicit in this shit show? They've been hiding hundreds of posts for violation of rules, but won't actually just suspend his account for all the misinformation, lies, threats, instigations of violence, and complete bullshit. They're enablers, pure and simple, because $. Almost like putting for-profit social media companies in charge of maintaining the politics, news cycle, and narratives is turning out to be a disaster for the country. Who knew? FCC Fairness Doctrine, we really could use you. Updated for the 21st century. People get banned for far less. My Twitter has been suspended for over a week now and I've appealed it. I don't tweet politics, curses, nothing but gaming and sports, and somehow I get a suspension with no response from my appeal. Here the president is targeting an American citizen and he gets just an account lock. Pathetic. Jack Dorsey needs to grow a pair and remove him off the platform. What's he afraid of? That would probably break Trump more than losing the election. I refuse to use Twitter. They should ban him for a month if not forever. His roid rage tweets are way more crazy than his morning poop tweets. Wonder how they look after he comes down from the steroids. Dear young people of Reddit, save us from this toddler and break all the records on voter turnout this election cycle. Please, as a middle-aged mom and professor, I'm begging you. We need the youth to rise up and be heard loud and clear. Trump should have lost his computer privileges a long time ago. Edit, it doesn't look like they permanently locked his account. Why not a 30-day ban? Can you imagine the fury? He can't go to events and he can't tweet. He'd probably get bed rest and hamburgers. Locked for 2 seconds and then unlocked. Clickbait bullshit. Good, he should be permanently banned. It would quite literally save lives. Kids, let's be done with this train wreck next month. For fuck's sake. What the fuck is a chirp? Lock it up for good. Can you imagine if they permanently locked his account? What would this bag of shit do all day if he couldn't tweet? This president, impeached for getting caught red-handed repeating his collusion with enemies of America for his own political gain, after having been shown to have done it in 2016 but having Stone willing to take the bullet, couldn't be prosecuted except for the 10 counts of obstruction to cover it up, then gets caught red-handed in Ukraine, exposed by a brave whistleblower and around a dozen in his staff unwilling to betray the country they serve for any politician, leaves hospital while infectious with COVID-19 to return to a White House that still hasn't done the bare minimum test and tracing to prevent the spread of a virus which is killing Americans in huge numbers, before he breaks off stimulus talks to provide COVID relief for his suffering citizens, blackmailing the American people by saying that there'll only be relief of their suffering when they re-elect him, which crashes the stock market as a direct result. And then to put a cherry on this cake, he first spreads COVID-19 misinformation on Twitter, lashing out at them for flagging that up, and finally he doxes a reporter for writing things which displease him. Was it John Bolton who overheard Trump discussing with the Chinese about how he felt they journalists deserved the death penalty? I guess we know now exactly what he was ordering his Proud Boy white nationalist gang to stand by for, to mete out the street violence towards journalists that Trump dislikes and doxes on Twitter, so he can add another story to his hit rally ramble about watching the beautiful violence being visited upon a CNN journalist he dislikes, although the reporter in Trump's celebration of the official violence directed at those covering the protests was actually an MSNBC anchor who was hit on the knee by a tear gas canister fired by police. These are not the behaviors of a well man, who is now actively visiting harm on those around him and holding needed relief for suffering Americans hostage to try to force them to re-elect him. Yet still the GOP will stand by and do nothing at all, while a sick man suffering from a nasty potentially lethal virus goes on this bizarre rampage against America that has his own campaign allies wondering what on earth he could be thinking by behaving this way. Golden. This is so good it's amazing. God damn, what a shit show. On November 4th, make America breath again, relax again, not worry about every single fucking piece of news. Holy shit, I've had it. Nothing humbles this asshole. He was near death with COVID, still acting like a complete asshole and downplaying COVID. The guy is a piece of shit. They should have done this 4 years ago. How about we just lock up Trump? That's what it takes. Imagine being the person at Twitter that has the honor of finally throwing down the ban hammer. They had a party at home that night. This is such horseshit, man. Come the fuck on, Dorsey, ban the motherfucker already. Fucking seriously? It wasn't when he called for violence. It's over an email. The president is doxing people? That's something. Trump's Twitter needs to be deleted/deactivated. The man continually breaks every rule of Twitter. Grow a spine, Jack. Congratulations, Twitter, you've now successfully held this man accountable to a higher degree than even our House or Senate. After ignoring hundreds of tweets that should have resulted in a permanent ban, they jump all over one that gets him a minuscule timeout.